Hello and welcome. This
Welcome.
is our first
Bonus.
episode. And it's for January. This is Susfaction, in case you're finding us on Patreon first, which is possible. We do have kind of a backlog of other episodes that you can find on Spotify, Amazon Music, and on YouTube. We are a history podcast first and foremost, but
history and creepy stuff, I'd say. It has to be creepy and weird, bothersome,
suspicious.
Yeah, first and foremost, and then history. I definitely had that history in there.
Yeah, for the month of January, we covered everything for the sus files that you can imagine.
Yeah.
And that's what we call our tinfoil tales, would be our sus files, because they are suspicious. So if you're just finding us, this is our first historical true crime episode. And we're going to talk about H.H. Holmes.
Which is exciting. I love this.
The Chicago World's Fair, also known as the World's Columbian Exhibition, was called the White City for its gleaming neoclassical plaster buildings to showcase American industrial and cultural power. It also introduced innovations like the Ferris wheel and Cracker Jacks, and influenced architecture and city planning for many years to come. But just a few miles away, within walking distance, was a more sinister build being created. Its creator, Herman Webster Mudgett, or as the world remembers him, H.H. Holmes. So, born May 16th, 1861, Holmes came into this world, but his name was Herman Webster Mudgett. He was born in Gilmanton, New Hampshire, the third child. He is known as one of the world's most prolific serial killers. He claimed 27 murders, but some of those people were still alive, although it is supposed that he killed close to 200 people. He's most well known for his murder castle. So, a little bit about me. I used to have a book club, and we read true crime. And so one of the books that we decided to read was The Devil in White City. And that is where most of this information is going to come from.
Okay.
The Devil in White City is all about H.H. Holmes and the World's Fair that was being built at that time.
Right.
So if you are into history and true crime, it's a really good read.
Wasn't the World's Fair, didn't it come to an end not long after H.H. Holmes was around?
Yes. Yeah, the World's Fair, it was a celebration. Did I write that in here? It was to celebrate. Maybe I didn't put it in here.
I just remember it wasn't a big fire or something that happened that ruined the whole area that they used for the fair.
Yeah, there isn't anything. So okay, the World's Fair was something that happened in several cities around the world,
right?
At different times. And one of the things that was built in the U.S. for the World's Fair in Chicago was the White City. Well, that plaster city burnt to the ground. We don't have anything left from that. In, I want to say, England, where they have the really giant, is that where they have the giant Ferris wheel?
Yes.
That was built for the World's Fair, that Ferris wheel. But
wow.
They still have it. And in Paris, France, the Eiffel Tower, that was built for their World's Fair.
Oh,
and
my.
They still have it.
I did not know
that. But we don't have ours. But Chicago was on fire how many times?
Chicago.
I mean, you've got lots of Chicago fires. Maybe we'll cover the Chicago fire.
Yeah.
In one of our other one of our free episodes. We'll do Chicago fire. As a child, Holmes had a scary encounter with a skeleton that both scared him and intrigued him. He said that this was the moment he decided to become a doctor. Holmes began torturing animals as a child. Still, he was a smart boy who later graduated from the University of Michigan with a medical degree. Holmes financed his education with a series of insurance scams, whereby he requested coverage for non existent people, and this included stealing corpses from graves and morgues, where Holmes would either sell these corpses to the medical school or burn and disfigure them to commit insurance fraud. Holmes would take out life insurance policies on these bodies before staging accidents to collect the money. And then he moved to Chicago in 1884 under the alias Dr. Henry H. Holmes.
He was a crazy lunatic since day one.
One thing I thought was really funny was when he was at the University of Michigan in medical school. He had a nickname. Smegma.
Oh my god.
He apparently smelled like smegma, and that's why the other students called him that.
No.
Are we plugging our ears? Oh, man. Yeah. So I'll let y'all Google that one. Just be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful when Googling. But apparently, yes, that was part of his charm.
Sick.
Holmes loved women, and women loved Holmes. He was charming, I guess. Before he went to the University of Michigan, he was actually married and had a child with a woman that he left. He did not divorce her, left her in New Hampshire, went on to medical school, didn't take her with him. Her name was Clara Lovering. We'll just refer to her as Clara from now on. And remember, she's the first wife, whom he abandoned, never divorced. All right. His second wife, Myrta Belknap, sorry. The K is silent.
The K is silent.
Yes, Belknap. Married while he was still married to Clara. She was a victim of his financial schemes, and he ultimately lost her home and life savings. And that was in 1886 that he married her. In 1886, Holmes moved to Chicago to work as a pharmacist. A few months later, he bought the pharmacy from the owner's widow after the owner's death. She then mysteriously disappeared.
Didn't he kill the owner?
Uh,
Wasn't he close
allegedly,
to the owner?
we don't know.
Okay.
He wasn't close to the owner. He was very close to the widow.
Okay.
Very close to the widow.
I thought there was. I remember. I recall a documentary on this, and that how he got that to buy the pharmacy was because he unalived the owner.
The widow. It was the widow. Yeah, because the owner had already passed, and he was very close to the widow. Some say that he even married her, but I don't know. He charmed her for sure, and then she mysteriously disappeared. With a new series of cons, Holmes raised enough money to build a giant, elaborate home across from the store, across from the pharmacy. The home, which Holmes called the castle, was reported to have had secret passageways, fake walls, and trapdoors. Holmes's basement also allegedly contained a lab with equipment used for his dissections.
Ew.
They do say that many of these allegations were likely exaggerated, but I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I do know that every time I read about Holmes's murder castle and the stairways to nowhere, it always makes me think of the Winchester house.
Mm-hmm.
And they both bring me back to Stephen King's Rose Red.
Oh my God.
They make my mind go there every time because that's what it makes me think of. Just like
Yeah.
the house was building itself though in Rose Red.
Right. But his home was from the mind of like a maniac, I swear.
Yes. Then there was Minnie Williams in 1893, a woman that he met at the World's Fair. He murdered her and her sister, Nanny Williams, and their remains were later found in the castle's basement. Okay.
Sorry, it's not funny. It's just how nonchalantly you said that.
Well, I had just mentioned the basement, that's why.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's possibly exaggerated, although there were remains found in the basement.
Yeah.
So, Holmes insisted that his guests, employees, and romantic partners were required to have life insurance policies and to list him as the beneficiary.
That's crazy.
Can you imagine working, like getting a job for somebody and they're like, you need to have a life insurance policy that names me as your beneficiary.
Right?
Like,
yeah,
you work
right.
for me, I pay you, but when you die, I want it all back.
Yeah, that's
and then some.
Insane.
Oh, man. He took advantage of the 1893 Chicago World Fair to target and lure guests to his hotel, many of whom disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Young women in the area, along with tourists who had come to see the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago and had rented out rooms in Holmes's castle, suddenly began disappearing. Medical schools purchased many human skeletons from Dr. Holmes during this period, but never asked how he obtained the anatomy
how did he
specimens.
get them?
Like, sure, we'll buy all the skeletons you got. What? Okay.
He's got skeletons in his closet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I had read that this castle, the way that he had it built, he drew up the plans himself because he didn't want anyone to know what he was planning. He didn't want to work with any architects. So he drew up the plans himself to kind of keep it secret. And then he would hire people like masons and
he would like hire and fire, wouldn't he?
Hire and fire, because he didn't want them to know too much about what was going on, and he didn't want to pay them. A lot of it was that he didn't want to pay them. So far we have insurance scams and not wanting to pay people working on his building as two other important things there that happened, but everyone remembers him as the murder castle guy.
Right.
Yep. Once the fair ended, he and his accomplice, Benjamin Peitzel, traveled the United States, where a trail of homicides and disappearances followed Holmes, including the murder of Peitzel.
And I believe Peitzel, didn't he have children?
Yes.
And a wife?
Yes. I'm going to get into that. Very quickly, though. Part of the reason people believe he was running or traveling all over the U.S. was because he was trying to avoid the people who he pissed off that he never paid for building his building.
Oh, right.
So, there's that.
Of course.
He was arrested in Boston in 1894. He also had another wife that he married in 1894 named Georgiana Yoke. Yoke? Sure. This is his final wife. She was intended as another victim, but survived because he was arrested. So, he was arrested in Boston in 1894 as he was suspected of committing fraud. He was arrested for fraud. Not murder. Fraud. However, through a thorough investigation, the police soon connected Holmes to the murder of Benjamin Peitzel and his 3 children. When Holmes and Carrie Peitzel, that's Ben's wife, were eventually tracked down and both arrested in Boston on November 17th, 1894, the authorities couldn't believe that Carrie had no idea where those 3 children were. Holmes had convinced Carrie to send the other two along, of her kids, two of her kids, along while she visited her parents so she wouldn't be overburdened, and then kept moving Carrie and her two children. So she had two with her, and he had the other three. Carrie and her two children, he kept moving from city to city around the Midwest, and even into Canada. Holmes kept promising that they would meet up with Benjamin after the next train ride. Next time.
Mm-hmm.
It's always next time. At the next hotel. But each and every time it seemed that the authorities were hot on his tail. If Peitzel were found alive, they would all be in trouble for the insurance scam. And that money, the insurance money, was gone. Most of it given to Holmes. So Carrie had given it to Holmes. Okay. I feel like I'm missing something. Maybe it's coming up. Holmes traveled with Peitzel's children until he felt them to be more of a burden than an aid. It seems that Howard, the youngest of the three Peitzels in that group, was too much for Holmes to handle. He, of course, missed his parents and had been continually left alone with his sisters in strange places before being moved along to the next room. Holmes apparently decided to murder Howard first because the boy annoyed him.
What? Oh, that's so pitiful.
He brought Howard to the rented house, poisoned him, cut up his body, and proceeded to burn it with as little feeling as though it had been an inanimate object. What Holmes could not burn, he buried in the basement. Remember, he rented that house. He buried a body in the basement of a rented house. Then he went back to pick up the girls and began moving them all to the next city. After Howard's death, Holmes explained the boy's absence to his sisters in some way before moving them to Detroit, where he secured another house. This one was not used for murder. He next moved his various captives along to Toronto and the site of his final murders. So he murdered Peitzel's son and then moved the two sisters into Canada and then murdered them there. Yeah. Holmes eventually confessed to murdering 28 people. However, it is believed he could be responsible for up to 200 murders. Holmes was only formally charged with the murder of Benjamin Peitzel, and he requested to represent himself in court. Holmes's choice to represent himself was quite unprecedented, since no accused murderer had ever done so. Holmes refused to accept the services of attorneys Everett Schofield and Joseph Fahey, who were appointed to his case by the Court of Philadelphia. According to court records, Holmes was nasty to the prosecutor, asking for scientific analysis on all evidence, claimed Benjamin Peitzel had committed suicide, and often deflected questions. However, he made a grave error when he requested a lunch break after a detailed and grotesque description of Peitzel's corpse. And he continuously failed to support his claims of innocence. He eventually requested the assistance of his defense attorneys, but was ultimately convicted of Peitzel's murder and was subsequently hanged for his crimes on May 7th, 1896. H.H. Holmes represents America's first recorded serial killer and the first murderer to utilize his constitutional right to represent himself.
In a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess what he had told Peitzel's wife was that Benjamin Peitzel was still alive and well.
Right.
And
like he was leading her on the whole time.
Yes.
Because they were traveling together.
Yes. Traveling together, but not together. So they were traveling city to city together, but he always put them up in a hotel and then would have somewhere else for himself to stay. He didn't stay with them.
I thought the wife was like on her own somewhere.
She was for part of it. For the first part, he was traveling with Peitzel. And then Peitzel died or committed suicide or was murdered, whatever. And she sent the eldest child to go and identify the body.
Okay.
And she did. She identified the body. So then they were able to get the insurance payout. Once they got the payout, she was traveling with Holmes. He had 3 of her children with him, and she had 2 with her. And every time he would move cities, he would move them as well.
Okay.
All over the place. But like all the insurance money was getting used on hotels and homes and all this other stuff, like getting moved around. And eventually it just all finally caught up with him.
Yeah, like because his whole life was just schemes and murder.
Yeah. One lie on top of another, because once you lie, it's hard to reverse it. You can't really, you have to lie again and then lie again.
Especially with the amount of fraud he was committing.
Yep. Fraud and
basically kidnapping.
Yeah, kidnapping, murder, corpses, the
selling of the selling of the corpse and like the mishandling of the corpses was a little much for me. That's gross.
It is.
And awful and evil.
Yeah. There was a lot as far as like what he did, and it didn't seem like it was a very long period of time.
No.
1 or 2 years. And
right.
It was 200 people in about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
Well, that murder castle, I mean, had just dungeons and different doorways to hell all over the place.
Yeah, he actually had one room that was designed to be a giant oven, so they would walk into it. There'd be no handle on the inside of the door. He'd close them in and then turn it on.
And
they would burn alive.
Oh my gosh.
He had another one that was like a gas chamber.
Yeah. It was like an escape room house.
From hell.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
yes.
Anyways.
Well, thank you for listening.
Thank you for coming into the Patreon and getting your bonus video or bonus audio from us.
Your bonus episode. We post our regular free episodes every Thursday at 6 p.m. and our bonus episodes, well, this one will be posted immediately, but probably the second to last week of the month is what we'll probably stick to after that. So third week of the month.
All right. And if you want to send anything in for your free episode, if you want to send anything to us for us to read on the podcast, you can reach us at suspectionpod@outlook.com. Again, if you wanted to send us anything for the regular episodes for us to read, you can reach us at suspectionpod@outlook.com, and we have an Instagram.
Yes, our Instagram is at suspectionpod. Again, the links are in the bio for our episodes on Amazon Music, YouTube, and Spotify. The Patreon episode for February will be on Billy Milligan.
Sweet.
Okay, thank you all for coming.
Yeah, thank you.